Good morning and welcome to Judging by the Cover, where we are going to review a game that we have never played in our lives. Today we're looking at Slay the Princess. Now, this is a game that came recommended to me from an old friend of mine. Um, I asked around on Discord, and this is one they recommended a while back. It's just that I finally had the opportunity to take a look at it, especially because we are on the verge of Halloween. And guess what? This game is also on sale. Steam is telling me that it is on sale for games under 5 hours. So short games that are on sale for that. And while I'm in there, I think I'm going to go ahead and take another look here. And what we have going on is a a narrative tale. It looks like a narrative tale where you're tasked with, well, as the title says, you have to slay the princess instead of saving the princess like you would normally expect out of this. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a look here. Let us start with the screenshots. The screenshots. Now, I did check out the trailers. The trailers are excellent. They show pretty much what you can expect from the gameplay. The screenshots are showing us some elegantly hand drawn, like pencil hand drawn work. It looks like, or at least it's done in that style. And it's the it is a testament to like how much can be conveyed with such simple art. Now, not to say that the art is easy, because simple does not necessarily mean easy. I am well aware of that. The artists look like they put a lot of work into this. The characters being posed in here, you got chains, daggers, castle walls, and everything. The dialogue is shown in a highlighted text over the screen. That's cute. Do you believe that? Do you think I'm some sort of monster? A lot of interesting stuff going there. We have this cabin. It looks like a cabin out in the middle of nowhere while the narrator is telling you she will lie, she will cheat, she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe her. So it's kind of giving me a little bit of that Stanley Parable type of vibe where the narrator is trying to edge you and urge you along with what you're supposed to be doing. But of course, whether or not you actually do what the narrator says, that's probably the core of the gameplay there. You jolt awake in the middle of the night in the silence in the cabin. The ruckus has stopped, so there was some kind of noise going on. Some very visceral looking imagery going on here. It looks like you have like just hanging organs from the walls, and kind of it does put a little bit of color in here to get the blood showing. We do see some kind of aquatic scene. Looks like the character is drowning, and this is all. It looks like it's all told from this first person's perspective. The most that you see of yourself is your hands. Look at you, completely broken. That was fun. So this is kind of like the screenshots may be giving. I'm wondering if the screenshots might be giving away a little too much of the princess's tone. Although, based on her expression, I don't know if she's necessarily the one saying this was fun. Maybe I'll see you in another life. The princess actually like genuinely looks concerned here. This one though, the princess chained here actually looks happy. If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, how do I wind up here chained to a wall? Have they told you have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous? And you see the multiple dialogue options here where you get quite a few options to choose from in the direction, and he'd probably give you different kinds of lore, character moments. You're going to die now. We got, just a room full of chains, a more immaculate palace. The screenshots give us, I feel like maybe just enough, maybe just slightly too much. That kind of remains to be seen through the gameplay, but it does appear to be a short game. Currently on sale, we are showing that it's on sale for $11.69 on Steam. I'm not sure where that sits on on the Switch. I'm going to take a brief look there once I get the shot. Apparently the Switch is on sale for 13.49, and it is also still the pristine cut, so not tremendously higher. And the Switch does look like they have one trailer on there. I know sometimes I've done these reviews where I'm looking at the Switch store page and they don't have a trailer on there like they have on the Steam page, and it's kind of a real detriment to the game. But the trailers now, the three different trailers, they do show a fair little amount to focus on. With that, let's go ahead and dive into what else we have. Oh, there is also a an Ultimate Edition. I did take a brief look at this. It comes with now that is the Ultimate Edition is more than twice the cost of the actual game. But if you're the kind of person who likes to have the soundtrack and the art book and stuff, it does come with quite a bit in that vein. It says it has a 50 plus track OST, so more than 50 tracks in the soundtrack, and 160 unique wallpapers from the game, each of which available in 4K, 2K, and 1080p. So, you have three different resolutions for a whole mess of wallpapers and artwork. Basically, you get that and you're getting a massive art book, like basically a 160-page art book and a soundtrack, which the music in the game from the trailers does seem simple but atmospheric at least. It could be good for, your Halloween soundtrack. We have a whole lot of stuff going on here. They have a nice little witch plush. They looks like they put some work in here to merchandise with this, and that actually came out apparently just this week, October 22nd, 2025, with the witch plus. So that's kind of cool. The reviews are telling us, yeah, we get from Voxel Smash, GameSpot, Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated gave a review. Sports Illustrated is doing video game reviews. The magazine famous for the swimsuit models is give. Maybe they had a thing where they put the princess in a swimsuit. I don't know. Anyway, you are on a path in the woods, and at the end of the path is a cabin, and in the basement of the cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. She will do everything in her power to stop you. She'll charm, she'll lie, and she'll promise you the world, and if you let her, she'll kill you a dozen times over. You cannot let that happen. Don't forget, the fate of the world rests on your shoulders. If you're not going to listen to him, are you? Oh, you're not going to listen to him, are you? You're supposed to save the prince. You're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. So that's an interesting little dynamic here. Normally, they are leaning into the premise that normally in these kinds of medieval fantasy things, you are supposed to save the princess. You're supposed to be the good guy, the hero. And it's like, no, this princess is going to end the world, so she needs to die. That's why we have her chained up. But then again, that also raises the question of like there's some logical questions going in here. Like, if she's going to end the world, why is she chained up in the basement of a cabin and not already dead if somebody is saying that she needs to be killed? Like in the front of my mind, that's one of the first questions that comes up, and I'm sure that based on the screenshots and a little bit of the trailers that we've seen so far, if by all remember it, check out the trailers. They are a good thing, a good way to kind of get a view, a glimpse into the game. They pretty much show the gameplay, some of the dialogue, some of the voice acting, and it does tell us fully voice acted by the impeccable Jonathan Sims and Nicole Goodnight. Now, me personally, those aren't two names that I'm incredibly familiar with. I haven't kept up with a lot of voice acting careers, but if those names stick out to anybody else, that could be a bonus right there. From the trailers, though, some of the voice acting, it did seem a little campy, I guess, but it got the point across. It wasn't as bad as like, you know, 1970s anime voice dubbing when you get to the English thing. Hand penciled art. Every background and sprite is drawn traditionally with pencil and paper by Ignatz winning graphic novelist Abby Howard. Again, a name that I'm not incredibly familiar with, but just having seen the art from the screenshots and the trailers, I would believe that, the somebody who is apparently an award-winning graphic novelist, it that tracks. The artwork looks elegant and beautiful, and even though it's pretty much all pencil drawn, it really gets the point across. And I feel like the art kind of lends to that psychological horror atmosphere that they seem to be building to. And no, the princess is not a cosmic horror, whatever that is supposed to mean. She's just an ordinary human princess, and you can definitely slay her as long as you put your mind to it. So they're telling us right here in the description that she's not some kind of Cthulhu or Yellow King esque supernatural being, that she is actually just a human, but still somehow bringing about the end of the world. Then again, humans can really fuck shit up. So yeah, that tracks. Don't even think about trying to romance her. It won't end well for you. Hopefully, you won't die, but if you do, you'll die a lot. Be careful and stay focused on the task at hand. It has a branching narrative where what you say and what you believe determines both who you are and how the story unfolds. Though I wouldn't recommend taking any paths outside of the one I lay before you. That seems to be a note directly from the narrator, which again kind of leans into that vein of if anybody's familiar with Stanley Parable, where the narrator is telling you and guiding you on what you should do and where you should go. But because you have control of the player, you do have the agency to completely go against the narrator, much to the narrator's dismay. Whether or not they're going to lean that heavily into the narrator telling you, to your face as the player, what the hell are you doing? I told you what to do. What are you, stupid? Maybe it might doesn't seem like that would fit the atmosphere and the tone of the game, but that is maybe a direction they could go. Maybe with certain decision paths. A new role playing experience from the creators of Scarlet Hollow. Now, Scarlet Hollow is another game that I'm not entirely familiar with, but it does show that they have made do have previous projects. This is not their first foray into this, especially when they do have apparently renowned voice acting and graphic artists working on their tone. And what is in the pristine cut? So this one is called the pristine cut, so it has a little bit more from the original release. It tells us three brand new chapters, replete with mysteries and consequences, expansions to familiar routes. The Den, the Apotheosis, and the Fury each have more than doubled in length. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Some paths in the game have actually drastically increased. Over 35% more content overall, all of it filled with great opportunities to listen to me and do your job. They are really hammering in home that the narrator is like, look, you have a job, just freaking do it. A new ending, and hopefully one that saves the world rather than damns it. Track your progress, cherish your memories, relive your exploits, and uncover deeply hidden secrets with the new gallery feature. Okay, apparently a gallery wasn't in the original, but these kinds of multi-tiered like choose your adventure kind of things, the gallery really kind of helps set kind of a completion benchmark if you really want to go and try and get all the endings and all the paths. So the fact that that is in here, that is a bonus. And over 1,200 new hand penciled frames, hand illustrated by Abby Howard. Oh, so basically, the pristine cut has even more drawing than the original. Makes sense that they would add to it. And over 2,500 new lines of dialogue, fully voiced by the impeccable Jonathan Sims and Nicole Goodnight. And it does have a mature content description. Developers describe the content like this: Slay the Princess is a horror game and is not intended for children with or those easily disturbed. So, bear in mind those little caveats here. If suicide is a significantly triggering topic for you, we suggest you take care of yourself while playing the game, or for you to possibly avoid playing it. So they pretty much even tell you if you have certain, like, mental health ticks going on, this is probably one that's best to avoid. So it does have some violence and some visual gore to it. So with that said, I think I'm gonna rate this a 7 on my judging by the cover. The store page does a pretty solid job of what they're working here. The graphic style and the trailers really do the job of conveying what you should be looking at for the game. The princess does look concerned and looks like if she has her hands free, she will fight back. Although the trailer does also show some animated sequences with like a demonic or a ghost-like princess sequence, while other ones have her, transforming into all kinds of different situations going on here. Now, how much it does, I am very curious to see. The princess does seem heartfelt in these like face to face moments here. But there are also the ones there's other parts of trailers where it shows her like not just violently stabbing, but it does look like she it is very reluctant to do so. Like she looks at you and sees that you are a monster or something, and based on the character's hands that you see in the trailer, they do appear to be clawed and somewhat wolf-like or beast-like in their portrayal. So there is a lot going on there. But like I said, I'm thinking a 7 out of 10 for this one. The art is impeccable. The narrative design is pretty good. The voice acting in the trailers, like it doesn't strike me as 100% believable, but with some of the visual depictions, they do show the princess in both an innocent light and a sinister light. Like with her expressions and her mannerisms, we do see both sides of things going on. So I am wondering, what is it about this? And like, on one hand, I know I mentioned it earlier, I feel like they might be showing a little too much to where it might kind of hint at certain things in the narrative that I feel like should be surprises. If you're seeing the trailers in front of you right now, that's what we're looking at here. But at the same time, they show them in such small, tiny fragments that it doesn't look like it's not something that's like, oh my gosh, they're giving away the whole story. They're showing it in such small amounts that they don't really give you the context of the situations that led up to each storyline, or if even each storyline is necessarily all the same princess, maybe based on your interactions. I'm wondering if there are different paths that lead to good endings where you let the princess live, but it doesn't end the world if you make certain choices. Um, I'm getting the kind of vibe of Long Live the Princess or Long Live the Queen, I think it was another one of these like multi-directional narrative games with a little bit more management of the princess as she ages, and there were a lot of paths, a lot of different ways that the character could die, and a lot of different endings. Like both, like you pretty much you die prematurely, or you get different like actual good endings. There's a whole bunch of them. I played a fair amount of that one, so it does kind of give me that kind of vibe. Except for the hand drawn art style, really puts in kind of a very dark and macabre setting. And with that, this is one, like I said, I'm rating a 7 out of 10. It's not one that I think I would buy immediately myself, although on sale for just under $12 or just under $14 on the Nintendo Switch for a pick up and go, if we want it on a handheld kind of platform, it does seem like a fair price for that. The full price at $17.99, yeah, $18 for it, I feel like for me as a consumer, that might be a little much, but the way that it has the replay value to go across the different storylines for people that really enjoy that kind of gameplay, especially with the horror vibe and the sense of discovery in the motif, um, I think I could actually recommend this even at full price. The 7 out of 10 is very much, it is a little bit of a personal preference where I would probably wait for a more uh for a bigger sale to hit it. In part because of constant, I always harp on other projects and things that I have working on. If you've seen the other video series and you've seen Twitch, I do have a day job that I keep up with. But at the very least, it does seem like a good value, and being on a sale for games under 5 hours, it does seem like one that actually would not take up that much time. You could probably knock this out in an afternoon or one overnight if that is your kind of scheduling. Um, but it does leave me curious. That's why I have it on the wish list, not only because it was recommended to me to look at from another friend of mine, but it does genuinely look interesting and like it has a pretty robust story to tell with all kinds of wild imagery. But of course, for anyone out there that likes the horror, by all means, go for it. If this is your kind of game or if you have played it, it's not exactly a new game. So let me know what your experience is, what your thoughts are. But for people that do have more of a sensitivity to the violence or mental health, this might be one to steer clear of. That might be another reason for, going maybe the 7 out of 10 would be that it's not necessarily something that is for all audiences, which is also is not a bad thing. Not everything needs to be made for everybody, but I do appreciate that this game, it does have its animated scenes, it's got beautiful art, the like the drawing style, it's very, the little bit of pulsing on the line work, it just lends to show that, like, if you don't think that you have like a robust art style or are incredibly skilled in graphics, this shows that you can make some very interesting works with even a limited tool set. And by that, just for that alone, I think it deserves like the at least that 7 rating. I do see like 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. The ratings are off the charts for this. I'm only basing this on the store page, having not played it myself. But again, like I said, leave your comments, whatever you think, whatever you have experienced, or if you think I am just talking out of my ass, by all means, let me know. I am no stranger to getting a little bit of question.